Part 2 of LSUodyssey.com's Super Bowl reaction. The Rams defeat the Bengals 23-20, and, Cooper Kupp destroying the Bengals on that final drive, absolutely making Eli Apple hopefully shut his mouth for the rest of his life. Wow. Like, the amount of bullshit Eli Apple tweeted, and then you play like that. And then you play like that. Don't talk if you're not ready to back it up. And, you'd think Joe Burrow would absolutely despise being on a team with someone with that type of mentality. I know Joe Burrow's a great guy. He's a nice guy, but I don't think he's going to put up with that very much longer from Eli Apple. I don't want to speak for Joe with that. There's a lot of things behind the scenes going on that we're not privy to. We know Eli was provoked, but we know that Eli Apple took it way too far and was way out of his mind for the game. He was not in the proper mental state for that game. I'm just going to tell you that right now. He was being burnt and turnt. But more than all of that, this goes right back to coaching and the Bengals' issues with coaching. You can look at the Bengals' issues with personnel and depth along the O-line and at running back or wherever you want to look. The defense was fantastic. But to me, the problem here is with this game, the reason the Bengals lost this game, this Super Bowl, was coaching. I mean, look at that final play. Eli Apple is one-on-one man coverage with the best receiver in the game. Man coverage against the best receiver in the NFL. Cooper Kupp. First and goal. Who the hell do you think they're going to? It's pretty ballsy from Sean McVay. First and goal. First and goal to win the Super Bowl, and what are you doing? You're throwing it. That's the thing that Bengals fans, LSU fans, we gotta get over with this. I know it sucks. A lot of Louisiana people, a lot of Saints fans hate that the Rams won this Super Bowl, especially at the hands at the expense of Joe Burrow. But I gotta stick up for the Rams here. They were pretty ballsy and went out and just took this game. 4th and 1. They could have punted it, which I never would have punted it. This is the Super Bowl. But most average decision makers would have punted that football. Most coaches would have punted that football. 20-16, 4 minutes left or 5 minutes left, something like that. They would have punted it. Nope. Instead, they run a jet sweep, an end around to Cooper Kupp. They give the ball to their best player and just say, make a play. Where was that for Ja'Marr Chase in the Super Bowl? Where was that? The few times Ja'Marr Chase was asked to make a play in the Super Bowl, he responded. Yes, he did drop a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1, I think it was. He dropped a 4th and 1, but the pass, Joe missed that pass. Ja'Marr would have loved, Ja'Marr would say he should have caught that. Ja'Marr would have loved to say he would have caught that, but that was a poor throw from Joe as well. So, beyond that, you got Ja'Marr Chase making this sick athletic catch over Jalen Ramsey and just turning on the afterburners to take it for 15, 16 yards up the sideline, which should have been like a 6-7 yard catch. He shows his after the catch burst there and his physical tools, and just shows that Jalen Ramsey cannot compete with him. And then on that bomb down the sideline as well, I wish Ja'Marr had been able to keep his feet, but the ball was just out in front of him. He kind of leaves his feet and makes the diving one-handed catch. Hauls it in, sets up the first Cincinnati points of the game. But really, I feel like Ja'Marr Chase had to be involved in this game more. I know I said it in part one. It's worth harping on. Ja'Marr Chase is the best player outside of Joe Burrow on that team. Give him the football. Give him the football. He was left on an island with Jalen Ramsey most of the time. And, with CJ Uzomah, they didn't really take too much advantage of him. The Bengals play calling was so just the length of the routes, the demeanor of the play calling. It was so scaredy cat. It was so conservative, and it was so just looking deep for an 80-yard touchdown every play. You can't do that with Aaron Donald in that front. You can't do that with that offensive line. I mean, it totally just handcuffed Joe Burrow. The fact that Joe Burrow ended this game without an interception, 263 yards, 1 touchdown, a quarterback rating of over 100. Joe had a great game. With all the circumstances around him, he had a great game. He did not play as well as he could have, but he was not allowed to play as well as he could have because of the play calling. If they would have called the same type of offense that the Rams were calling, look at the last drive for the Rams. They were just wearing down that Bengals defense. If the Bengals had kept at that death by 1,000 cuts game plan that they started the Super Bowl with, they would have been walking out of there at least tying it 23-23 going into overtime with a chance to win the game. But that's just a conservative estimate. A real estimate is that they would have won this game 27-16. They should have worn them down and taken advantage and won this game. The Bengals will be haunted by this loss. They can celebrate what a hell of a season they had. They shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl. But the bar has been raised. They have raised that bar. They have raised those levels. Celebration now becomes kind of some disappointment. As Ja'Marr Chase said after the game, damn. Just one word, damn. I don't think the Bengals coaching staff let Ja'Marr Chase or Joe Burrow take over the game. Just, look at how Sean McVay allowed Cooper Kupp to take over the game. Okay? Watch how look at that. Look at the last drive. Cooper Kupp had 52 yards or something before that final drive. After that final drive, something like just short of 100, 9 catches, and 2 touchdowns. They rode Cooper Kupp, won the game because of it. Your best players make the biggest plays against the best opponents on the biggest stages. The Bengals did not allow their best players to make the biggest plays on the biggest stage. I'm not saying Zach Taylor isn't prepared for the big stage or anything like that. I don't think anything like that. I just think very naive play calling going into this game, and it cost them a Super Bowl. And we're far from finished analyzing this Super Bowl. We'll have even more content coming about this crazy, crazy game and what it means for the future of Burrow, Chase, Tyler Shelvin, who, for some reason, was inactive for yet another playoff game. Don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully, he can figure it out. But it would have been great to have had every single last body the Bengals could have had, but Thad Moss, another LSU Tiger who was out for the Bengals, where he could have played a big key role in this Super Bowl. Thad Moss. If Thad Moss hadn't been injured in the offseason, placed on IR, he could have played a huge role in this game backing up CJ Uzomah. He could have been huge in this game, just like he was in the 2019 title game. But we didn't get to see it. And I just think there's a few things here that are just such a shame for the Bengals. You know, maybe they did this 1 year too early, and now will they be able to get back? If there's anyone who's going to get back, you look at Aaron Rodgers, you see the kind of defeatist vibes he's got going. You don't really feel like he's going to get back there. Joe Burrow, when you look in his eyes at 000 of that game, when you look in his eyes after that play with Aaron Donald, when he knew the game was ended, the game was over, I know Joe is going to be back in that game.